guest is a very funny writer and comedian you know best from her work on Saturday Night Live, which returns this Saturday, January 18th, with host Dave Chappelle and musical guest Glorilla. Please welcome back to the show, Sarah Sherman, everybody.
It's so great to be back.
This is fantastic.
Doesn't this look like, what are those things at the car wash, the automatic car wash?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm always so worried when you come on that we're going to be dressed the same, and then I feel this palpable relief. I hear, but for first show back, after a break, you guys had a nice, long, well-deserved holiday break. And you're
saying I deserve it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. But you're redecorating your office, and you have a couple of the items.
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
The other one's on the other side of you.
Right. Okay. Good. Just they're here, so don't freak out.
Yeah.
This first one. Well, okay. So actually, this is kind of timely, but I'll explain. So we did a sketch. Me and Dan Bulla wrote a sketch.
Here, we'll go over there. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Me and I could do my Vanna White hands. Me and
this
Dan,
was often on Price is Right.
Yeah.
Things like this.
And how much do you guys think this costs? The answer is priceless. Wait, funny, I didn't even realize, I have a ring with an eyeball on it that matches. Zoom in.
This is a real motif. The eyes, yeah.
It is. Me and Dan Bulla wrote a sketch called The Anomalous Man, where I had a hunchback with an eyeball on it.
Yeah.
And then after like a 15-hour shooting day or whatever, they peel, like Louis Zakarian, the makeup guy at SNL, you guys know him.
Yeah.
So when they peeled the eyeball off, it was like covered in sweat after a long day, and I was like, please let me keep the eyeball hunchback. And they were like, usually you don't keep prosthetics you've been sweating in all day because they become gross and they disintegrate. And I was like, don't worry, I put it on an old script, and it's just been sitting in my office stinking up the place. And so Eamon and Props framed it for me.
It's beautiful. And I feel like it's probably, you're the only one who would want it.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about like petty theft with something like this.
Right, and can you smell it from there?
I can't.
Unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Maybe like poke a couple smell holes in the glass just so people can enjoy it.
And well, I'd actually have to charge you admission for something like that.
Yeah, but this has always been, this is one of, what, your calling cards? Is that, I feel like of the people in the cast right now that you'd be like, let's do something weird with the body part.
Well, who, me? No, I never do something like that. I do something normal, of course. But yeah, no, I do have I do like eyeballs. I have one on my finger.
Yeah.
I have one, my grandma, may she rest, actually had a prosthetic eyeball. You're clapping for my grandma? Let's go!
I always like when one audience member thinks it's time, and then they're like, oh, misjudged it. Not even a second person didn't even think about it.
She was like, I'm giving it up for B. Sherman right now. We texted back in the day. But she had a prosthetic eyeball. And so I got when she...
B. Sherman had a prosthetic eyeball?
Yep.
Did you know as a kid? Was this something she shared with you?
Of course, she would play her big prank.
Okay.
Where I would, like how all grandparents sleep 1 hour a night. And they wake up at 5 in the morning and sit in their kitchen waiting for their grandchildren to come down for breakfast, of course. And so we were in Boca Raton. I was sleeping over at my grandma's house, and I come down for breakfast, and she had taken off her prosthetic eye lens and taken out her dentures. So when I came into the kitchen, she turned around and gave me the fright of the century. And,
it's fun when you don't have to work too hard to, like, track back, like, where you came from.
Oh! My dumb ass goes to like Jungian dream analysis. In dream analysis, my therapist is always like, what's your fascination with an eyeball? Like, is it because you're like obsessed with perception? And I'm like, no, I inherited my dead grandma's prosthetic eyeball collection. Like that's...
How many did she have?
She had like enough.
Okay. That is, by the way, the perfect answer. I'm so... Normally, oh, there it is. Look at that.
Oh, that's gross to you? Really?
Yeah.
Because this helped my grandma survive in this world. But it's like when you have a glass eye. Shout out Peter Falk. What's good? Peacock. Columbo.
Peacock. You can watch all the Columbos. Glass eye. See if you can guess which one. It's obvious.
They're hand painted prosthetics that like go Like that you can change them out, and they're like shaped like a shoehorn. So that's what that is.
Wow.
So I'm eyeballed out, but here's your phone. No, I want it. I want it. Keep it for later. I was gonna go to the SNL. I was gonna go to the NBC store after this and get a Seth Meyers T-shirt, but I'm good with this.
Okay, great.
But the Hunchback eyeball sketch was like we did an Elephant Man.
Yes, it
David
was.
Lynch
Yeah.
parody, and then today we
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, David Lynch.
David Lynch, very sadly, just passed away today.
If somebody is finding that out right now from me looking like this, I'm so sorry. That's insane. But it's just crazy because I brought that prop to show everyone, and I can't believe.
Were you somebody at a young age who was super into David Lynch stuff?
I feel like he taught me how to think, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm in dream analysis and stuff because of him, and I got into meditation because of him, and I think he it's just so cool that someone like that put movies out that anyone could see.
Yeah.
It's not like you had to go dig in the weirdo bin to find a freaky movie that would totally inform your worldview. It was he made movies that were famous.
Yeah.
So I could see I saw Blue Velvet when I was 15, probably too early.
Yeah.
With the Frank.
But I think there's a whole generation of people where their path was seeing David Lynch films too early.
Yes.
That was the important thing was it's not important you see it, you have to see it before you're ready.
Right.
Because that's I think that's what David Lynch films were for, people who weren't ready for it.
Yeah, he's I'm 15 and I'm going, I guess there's a dark underbelly to Americana suburbia, but I guess I'm not going to think about it too hard. But I'm glad I could bring the move down.
But you know what? You can bring it back up with another prop.
True.
Okay.
Okay, so this is another prop I would like to redecorate my office with.
Okay.
If anyone in the audience has a tendency to get too horny, cover your eyes. So this, I'll put it on your desk.
Yeah, please.
This is I cover your whole face and body with it. We did a Hanukkah sketch with Martin Short. And you know what it's like when you're writing the first 2 lines of a sketch. It's what are you gonna? That's the hardest part of sketch writing.
Going from a blank page to just a little bit of words.
And you're we need people to be rolling on the floor, laughing for the next 4 minutes. How do we start the sketch? So of course the writer Jake Nordwin says, why doesn't the Hanukkah sketch start with, hey, do you guys like my Anora Menorah?
For those who have seen Anora, the soon-to-be Oscar-nominated film, one would think.
And it just entered the Criterion Collection, of course.
Deservedly so. But this is the Anora Menorah. And now, so this went to dress.
This went to dress.
And how loud did people laugh when they saw it?
I would say 1 pervert in the audience laughed.
Okay.
And believe it or not, it was kind of a downhill spiral from there.
So you set the peak, which was 1 perv, and then it went downhill from there.
You know when you're just you're Tuesday night when I was writing this sketch, personally, I was laughing.
Yeah.
And you put your wig on, you put your costume on, there's a whole set, for God's sake.
Yeah.
300 people in the crowd. And with all these factors, not 1 other laugh can come out.
It is funny. I remember early on, I had that expectation when you would see the incredible work everybody else did, like costumes and hair and the set. You would just think, this has got to work. And then the audience is just the speed at which they're like, no, thank you. And nothing's worse than when based on, when they're out on Anora Menorah and you have 4 more minutes and that was your favorite joke. Right. You're like, oh, brother.
And this needs to be said, did the Anora Menorah have anything to do whatsoever with the next 4 minutes? No, no.
It was an amuse-bouche. Enjoy it.
It was welcome to the show, relax, put your feet up, get comfortable. Mikey Madison's naked body, relax, we're good. Just nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry that they ruined Hanukkah.
They did.
Your dad recently was in a Please Don't Destroy video. Your actual father. Yes. By the way, he was fantastic.
He knows. He knows that.
He knows. Was he nervous at all to do this cameo?
No, he has been waiting my entire career for him to be in a sketch on Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Like, I never thought that I would be in the position I am today, and I'm very grateful, of course. It's almost like he had a premonition the whole time, sort of in a Lynchian way, that no matter what my life was, he would be in a sketch on Saturday Night Live.
When you told him you got hired, he was like, oh, that's how it's gonna happen.
Yes.
I'm gonna get there through you.
Yes.
But he was very good in it, but now he's become friends with John Higgins.
Right.
And he's been texting John, so he got,
Right.
he's not happy with his one cameo.
No.
And he was great, by the way.
Yeah.
I really do want to say he was great. But this is, now he's just reaching out.
Yeah.
JH, that's what he's calling John. What's the deal? You couldn't bring me tonight? Have to watch this on the couch instead of chilling with my bro.
Well, can you try to do it in the thickest Long Island accent? Try it.
I don't want to.
So it's more like, JH, what's the deal? You couldn't bring me tonight? Have to watch this on my couch instead of chilling with my bro? That's what it's like.
So at some point, they're not going to take your call because they're going to be on the phone with your dad.
No, they text constantly. Right? Every week, my dad watches the show and he texts John like, yo, could have been in that. Like, also, did you see the rest of the text, by the way?
Oh, yeah, wait.
He said...
John is not helping because he's like, my dog, you know you're coming next time. You and I are headlining, what is that? We're heading for ice.
Okay, my dad said, you and I are heading for ice. We need Fallon's PH Fat Ranger ticks.
Yeah.
So to decode what like Jewish Long Island dad speak that is, you and I need to go to an ice hockey game. We need to take, according to his logic, Fallon's like box seats or something.
But then you went to a game
Right.
with John. And so then John sent it to your dad.
Right.
And instead of your dad being like, that's great, can you read the last thing your dad wrote back to your friend about you?
Teach Sarah something about hoop. Basketball. Last time I took her to a Yankee game, ... She brought a book. Total nerd. Enjoy.
Come on.
What was I supposed to do? Watch the game?
Yeah, bring a book. I love it. Thanks so much for being here. It is just a thrill. It's so lovely to see you, Sarah. This is Sarah Sherman, everybody. SNL returns this Saturday. Dave Chappelle, Glorilla, right here on NBC and Peacock. Stick around. We'll be right back.